Liam was a single dad who worked as a janitor in one of the biggest offices in the city. Every morning, he woke up before the sun, quietly kissed his little daughter Ava, and went to work. He had been raising Ava alone ever since his wife passed away 2 years ago. Life had been hard, but Liam never complained. He believed in staying honest, working hard, and doing what was right, even when nobody noticed. That day, the office was busier than usual. Employees were rushing around, typing on computers, carrying files, and talking loudly on phones. Liam quietly moved between the floors, mopping floors, emptying trash, and fixing small things that nobody else cared about. His eyes always seemed tired, but there was kindness in them. Everyone knew him as a quiet man, polite but invisible in a place full of busy, important people. Olivia was a young woman who worked in the marketing department. She was smart, ambitious, and always focused on her work. That morning, she was running late and carrying a stack of important papers down the stairs. In her rush, she didn't see the wet floor sign Liam had placed after mopping. Her foot slipped. Time seemed to slow. Papers flew into the air, her heart raced, and she almost fell down the stairs. But Liam was there in an instant. He reached out just in time, catching her arm and pulling her back to safety. Olivia's heart pounded, not just from fear, but from the sudden feeling of being protected by someone she barely knew. Liam steadied her, smiling softly, brushing off the papers. "Be careful," he said. His voice was calm, warm, and strong. "Thank you. I don't know what would have happened," Olivia stammered, her voice shaky. Liam waved it off. "It's nothing. Just be careful next time." He turned to continue his work, but Olivia couldn't stop staring. There was something in him, something honest, something rare, that made her feel a strange mix of gratitude and curiosity. But not everyone appreciated Liam's heroism. A few managers, who were always watching for mistakes, noticed that Liam had stopped his cleaning to help Olivia. "Why was he distracted?" one of them whispered. "He shouldn't be stopping to do this. That's not his job." Liam didn't care. He had done the right thing. But right now, doing the right thing could cost him everything. Later that day, Liam received a call from his supervisor. His stomach sank. The words were harsh, cold, and unexpected. "You're fired," the supervisor said. Liam felt a sharp pain in his chest. He couldn't believe it. After everything he had done for the company, after saving someone's life, this was the reward? Ava didn't understand at first. When Liam told her, her little face fell. "Daddy, what will we do?" she asked, clutching his hand. Liam hugged her tightly, fighting back tears. "We'll be okay, Ava. I promise. We always find a way." But deep down, Liam felt scared. Losing his job meant losing the small security he had. It meant late nights worrying about rent, food, and bills. It meant explaining to Ava why life suddenly felt so uncertain. And yet, despite the fear, he didn't regret helping Olivia. He couldn't. He had done what was right. Meanwhile, Olivia couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. She knew Liam had risked everything to save her. She knew the injustice of firing him. And she knew she had to do something. But how could a young employee like her help a single janitor against the power of the company? She felt trapped between fear and hope, unsure of what to do next. That evening, Liam walked home in silence. The city lights flickered around him, and the streets were crowded, but he felt alone. He thought about Ava, about how she deserved better, and about the strange twist of fate that had led him to save someone and almost lose everything in return. He didn't know it yet, but someone powerful had been watching, someone who might change everything. At home, Liam sat by Ava's bed, brushing her hair softly as she fell asleep. "Daddy," she whispered, "do you think things will get better?" He kissed her forehead. "Yes, baby. They always do. We just have to keep being strong." Outside the small apartment window, the city hummed with life. But inside, Liam's heart was heavy with worry, tinged with hope. Hope that the right people would see the truth, hope that kindness would not go unnoticed, and hope that somehow, this story was only just beginning. Liam spent the next morning staring at the empty spot where his ID badge had always hung. The office had felt like a battlefield yesterday, and now it was gone, just like that. He still couldn't understand how saving Olivia could lead to this. It didn't make sense. He thought about Ava, about the bills he had to pay, and the groceries he needed to buy. Anxiety and anger swirled together in his chest. Ava noticed her father's sadness. "Daddy, don't be sad," she said, holding his hand tightly. "We'll be okay, right?" Liam forced a smile. "Yes, baby. We'll figure it out." But the truth was heavier than his words. How could a single janitor survive in a city where every mistake was punished, even if that mistake was doing the right thing? Meanwhile, Olivia couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. She had spent the morning in a daze at her desk, her hands shaking slightly every time she thought of Liam's brave act. She had never met someone so selfless, someone who risked everything for a complete stranger. And now, he was gone, fired for saving her life. The thought made her stomach twist with guilt. She whispered to herself, "I have to do something." But the problem was bigger than her. Liam was just a janitor, the managers were strict, and the rules of the company were clear, or so they thought. How could one young employee fight against such power? Olivia felt helpless, but determination burned inside her. She knew she couldn't just sit back and watch an innocent man suffer. Back at home, Liam tried to focus on something else. He cleaned the small apartment, cooked breakfast for Ava, and tried to make her laugh. He wanted to protect her from worry, but it was hard. Every sound of the wind outside reminded him of the uncertainty that awaited him. How would he pay the bills? How would he survive without his job? And more importantly, how could he explain to Ava why life was suddenly so unfair? Days passed, and Liam began searching for any work he could find. He went to small offices, restaurants, and stores, but no one wanted to hire someone who had recently been fired from a big company. Each rejection felt like a heavy weight on his shoulders. Yet, every time he saw Ava smiling or heard her say, "Daddy, it's okay," he felt a spark of hope. He couldn't give up, not for her. Olivia, on the other hand, was quietly gathering information. She knew that Liam's firing wasn't fair. She asked coworkers in hushed tones, taking notes on who had witnessed the incident. She spoke carefully to HR, trying to understand why someone so brave could be treated so cruelly. Each answer she received only deepened her frustration. Liam had saved her life. Why would the company punish him instead of thanking him? One evening, as Liam and Ava sat down for dinner, Olivia arrived at their apartment unexpectedly. She had baked a small cake and brought it as a thank you, though she tried to keep it casual. Liam was surprised but smiled warmly. "Thank you, Olivia, that's really kind of you." Olivia hesitated, then said softly, "Liam, I feel terrible about what happened. You didn't deserve this. I want to help, but I don't know how." Liam shook his head, brushing off her words. "You saved me too, Olivia, in a way. Don't worry about me. I'll manage." But Olivia could see the worry in his eyes. She could see the burden he carried alone, the fear of what the future might bring. Her heart ached for him. That night, Olivia stayed awake thinking. She knew she had to find a way to help Liam, but it wouldn't be easy. The managers were powerful, and the company's rules were strict. Yet, deep inside, she believed that someone higher up, the kind of person who could make things right, might notice Liam's courage if given the chance. She made a plan to find that person. Someone who could see the truth. At the same time, Liam's routine continued. He cleaned offices, fixed broken lights, and did small jobs for neighbors to make ends meet. He never complained. He never asked for help. But the worry never left him. Every day, he wondered if this was the end of his career, the end of his dignity. And then, something unexpected happened. A mysterious visitor came to the office where Olivia worked. It wasn't anyone Liam knew, but Olivia could feel the presence of someone powerful, someone who demanded respect just by being in the room. She quickly realized this could be the chance she had been hoping for, the chance to reveal the truth about Liam's bravery to someone who mattered. Liam, unaware of what was coming, continued his quiet life, focused only on Ava and surviving the harsh reality of being fired. But the stage was set. Someone with power, someone who could change his life forever, was watching. Liam woke up that morning with the same worry weighing on his shoulders. The apartment felt colder than usual, and Ava's small voice calling "Daddy" only made the fear in his heart sharper. He had been searching for work everywhere, but every rejection made him feel smaller, as if the world was closing in on him. Still, he never showed Ava his despair. She needed him strong, and he refused to let her see him break. Olivia, meanwhile, couldn't stop thinking about Liam. She replayed the moment he saved her over and over in her mind. His calm strength, his selfless courage, the way he had risked everything, it all made her feel both grateful and determined. She knew she couldn't just sit quietly anymore. Someone had to see what really happened, and that someone had to have the power to change Liam's life. That evening, Olivia finally made a bold decision. She sent a carefully written email to Ethan, the young billionaire CEO of the company. She didn't reveal too much, only hinted at the injustice. A janitor had risked his life to save her and had been fired unfairly. She described Liam's courage, his selflessness, and the way he had quietly protected others around the office. Ethan was intrigued. He was known for noticing things others overlooked. When he read Olivia's words, he felt a spark of curiosity. He asked to see the security footage and reports from that day. As he reviewed them, his eyes widened. The footage showed exactly what Olivia had described: Liam rushing to save Olivia, steadying her, and preventing what could have been a terrible accident. He had done this calmly, without thinking of himself, and yet the management had treated it as negligence. Meanwhile, Liam tried to continue his life normally. He helped Ava with her homework, cooked their meals, and went out in search of odd jobs. Each day felt heavier than the last. Every rejection reminded him that the world didn't always reward courage. But he never lost hope completely. Somehow, he felt that things were about to change, he just didn't know how. Olivia began to quietly gather more evidence. She spoke to coworkers who had witnessed the incident, taking notes on what they had seen. She also found small ways to support Liam, leaving groceries at his door anonymously and writing little notes of encouragement. She knew he didn't need pity. He needed justice. Ethan, observing everything from his office, began connecting the dots. He was impressed by Liam's bravery and the fact that he had faced consequences for doing the right thing. The CEO had seen many cases in his life, but this one felt different. It wasn't about money, or success, or rules, it was about character. Ethan wanted to see Liam in person. He wanted to understand the man behind the courage. Back at the apartment, Liam was exhausted. Ava had fallen asleep, and he sat by the window, staring at the city lights. He thought about the morning, the office, and the life he had been trying to build for Ava. Despite everything, he felt proud. He had done the right thing. And deep inside, he hoped that someone, someday, would notice. Suddenly, Olivia appeared at his door again. This time, she was more determined. "Liam," she said softly, "I know things are hard. But you didn't deserve what happened. I found someone who can help you." Liam looked up, surprised. "Help me? Who? How?" She hesitated, then said, "A CEO. Someone who has the power to see the truth and fix this. I just need you to trust me." Liam frowned. Trust had been a difficult thing lately. Every door he had knocked on seemed to close in his face. But something in Olivia's eyes made him pause. She wasn't asking for money, or favors, or recognition. She just wanted to make things right. "All right," he said finally. "I'll trust you." The next morning, Ethan came to the company under the guise of a routine visit. He was calm, confident, and observant. Olivia guided him quietly to the janitor's records, explaining Liam's story. Ethan watched carefully. He didn't speak much, but his eyes were sharp, scanning every detail. He reviewed the reports, watched the footage again, and noted the small moments Liam had done right, helping other employees, quietly fixing problems, and showing integrity even when no one was watching. By the end of the day, Ethan had formed an opinion. He knew that Liam's courage was genuine, that his actions were heroic, and that the company had treated him unfairly. But revealing the truth wasn't simple. Management would resist. Some employees might gossip. And Liam, he didn't know this yet, but his life was about to change in ways he couldn't imagine. That night, Liam sat with Ava, telling her bedtime stories, unaware that a powerful person had taken notice of his actions. Olivia left his apartment quietly, her mind racing. Tomorrow, she would try to set up a meeting with Ethan and Liam. The suspense hung in the air. Would Liam finally get the recognition he deserved, or would the company try to bury the truth even deeper? For the first time in days, Liam allowed himself to hope. Somehow, despite all the struggles, he felt that things were beginning to shift. But the full story, the part that would shock everyone and change his life forever, had not yet been revealed. The night was quiet, but the tension was rising. Somewhere, in the halls of the company, the truth was waiting to come out. And when it did, nobody would expect the life-changing consequences it would bring. The next morning, Liam woke up feeling the same mixture of exhaustion and worry he had felt for weeks. He had been trying to find small jobs, working late nights, and doing everything he could for Ava. But the weight of losing his job and facing uncertainty for the future still pressed heavily on him. Meanwhile, Olivia was already at the company, preparing for a meeting she had arranged with Ethan, the young billionaire CEO. She had explained Liam's story to him in detail and shown him the evidence she had collected, the footage, witness statements, and even little notes of kindness Liam had left for his co-workers. Ethan listened quietly, his expression calm, but his eyes revealed a deep interest. He wasn't just curious, he was moved. When Ethan decided it was time to meet Liam, he didn't announce himself to the world. Instead, he arranged a private meeting. Olivia guided Liam to a quiet office, telling him only that someone wanted to meet him about his bravery at work. Liam was nervous. He didn't understand why anyone, especially someone important, would want to meet him. He thought of all the ways this could go wrong. As Liam entered the office, he saw a tall, confident man waiting. Ethan smiled warmly, extending a hand. "Liam, I've been watching what happened at your office," he said. "I wanted to hear your side of the story." Liam felt his heart race. He shook Ethan's hand and spoke slowly. I just did what anyone would do. I couldn't just watch someone get hurt. I didn't think about the consequences." Ethan nodded thoughtfully. "I can see that. I've seen many people in positions like yours make choices that cost them everything. But what you did, it took courage, integrity, and selflessness. That's rare." Liam was silent for a moment, his mind racing. He had spent weeks feeling invisible, unappreciated, and punished for doing the right thing. And now, here was someone powerful, someone who understood. He felt a strange mix of relief, disbelief, and hope. Olivia stepped forward, her voice soft but firm. "Liam didn't deserve what happened. He saved my life, and he was treated unfairly. I collected everything I could to show you the truth." Ethan nodded again, glancing at the documents and footage. "I appreciate your courage too, Olivia. It takes a brave person to speak up for what's right." Then, a tense silence filled the room. Ethan leaned forward slightly. "Liam, the company's management acted wrongly. You were fired for doing the right thing. That cannot stand. But I want to do more than just fix the mistake. I want to make sure your future, and Ava's future, is secure." Liam's eyes widened. His hands trembled slightly. I don't know what to say. I never asked for anything. I just wanted to do my job and care for my daughter." Ethan smiled. "And that's exactly why I want to help. I believe in rewarding honesty, courage, and selflessness. People like you shouldn't be punished, they should be celebrated." At that moment, Liam felt something he hadn't felt in weeks: hope. Real hope. He thought about Ava, her small hands, her bright eyes, and her trust in him. He realized that he could finally give her the life she deserved. But the story wasn't over yet. Ethan explained that management would resist, that some people would be upset, and that not everyone would welcome the truth. Yet, he promised that Liam's heroism would not be hidden. The company would acknowledge what he had done, and the injustice of firing him would be reversed. Olivia watched Liam's reaction closely. She saw tears forming in his eyes, but they were not tears of sadness, they were tears of relief, of recognition, of validation. For the first time, Liam felt seen. That evening, Liam walked home with Olivia's help. The city lights seemed brighter, the streets less lonely. He thought about the events that had led him here, the slip on the stairs, the moment he reached out to save Olivia, the weeks of worry and rejection, and now, the possibility of a fresh start. Ava ran to him as he opened the door. "Daddy! Did something happen?" she asked, curious and excited. Liam hugged her tightly, feeling the warmth of her small arms around him. "Yes, baby. Something very good happened today. Everything is going to be okay." Liam realized that sometimes, doing the right thing comes with a heavy price. But he also learned that courage, honesty, and selflessness do not go unnoticed forever. Even in a world that seems unfair, there are people who see, people who care, and people who have the power to make things right. And as Liam held Ava close, he knew that his life was about to change. The suspense of what the company's management would do next, the anticipation of the public recognition, and the unfolding consequences of his courage, all of it made his heart race. But one thing was certain: for the first time in a long time, Liam felt that justice, and perhaps even happiness, was within reach. The next morning, Liam woke up to a quiet apartment, but today felt different. There was a strange sense of anticipation in the air. Something important was about to happen, though he didn't yet know what. He made breakfast for Ava, trying to keep the mood normal, but his heart raced. Something told him that his life, and her future, were about to change. Olivia arrived early at the office. She had spoken with Ethan, and now the plan was set: the truth about Liam's heroism would finally be revealed to the company. She had prepared every detail carefully, making sure that Liam's actions, the video footage, and witness statements would leave no doubt in anyone's mind. At the same time, Liam was asked to come to the main conference room. His stomach twisted. He had no idea what awaited him. When he entered, the room was filled with managers, employees, and a few higher-ups he had never seen before. Olivia was there, smiling reassuringly, but Liam could feel his heart pounding. Then Ethan entered. The room went silent. He stood tall, calm, and authoritative. "Thank you all for gathering," he said. "I've come to address something important. Something that has been misunderstood." Ethan played the video footage of Liam saving Olivia. The room watched in silence as the clip showed the single dad heroically preventing an accident, calmly and selflessly. Then Ethan shared witness statements, highlighting Liam's acts of kindness and integrity over the past years. The truth was clear: Liam had not only saved Olivia but had consistently gone above and beyond in his work, quietly helping others without seeking recognition. The room erupted in whispers. Some employees looked embarrassed, realizing how they had ignored or underestimated him. Managers who had fired Liam now looked uncomfortable, caught in the weight of their own unfair decisions. Olivia watched Liam closely. His eyes widened in disbelief. He felt a mix of relief, pride, and a lingering fear that maybe this was too good to be true. Ethan stepped forward. "Liam was fired for doing the right thing. That is unacceptable. Today, we correct this injustice." He paused, letting the words sink in. Not only is Liam reinstated, but he is offered a position that reflects his courage, integrity, and dedication. He deserves more than we could have ever offered him before. The room fell silent. Liam could hardly believe it. His hands trembled slightly. He looked at Ava, who was waiting outside in his mind, imagining her reaction. He realized that everything he had gone through, the worry, the rejections, the fear, had led to this moment. Justice was finally served. Some managers tried to protest, but Ethan's presence left no room for argument. He made it clear that integrity and courage were to be rewarded, and no one could stand in the way of that principle. Liam felt a rush of emotions. Gratitude, relief, pride, and the knowledge that doing the right thing, even when it was difficult, was always worth it. After the meeting, Liam walked out with Olivia. She smiled and said softly, "See? I told you someone would notice." Liam shook his head, overwhelmed. "I never expected this. I just wanted to do the right thing. I didn't think anyone would care." Olivia squeezed his hand. "People care. And the right people noticed. You showed the world what it means to be brave and kind." Later that evening, Liam returned home to Ava. He knelt down to her level, smiling through tears. "Ava, something wonderful happened today," he said. "Everything is going to be okay." Ava's eyes sparkled. "Really, Daddy? Really?" "Yes, baby. Really. Everything is going to be okay," Liam said, holding her close. He realized that the journey had been hard, but it had taught him, and everyone watching, the value of courage, honesty, and selflessness. Olivia called him later, making sure he was settled. "You've earned this, Liam. And maybe the world is ready to see the real you now." That night, Liam sat by the window, watching the city lights twinkle. He thought about the months of struggle, the fear of losing everything, and the courage it had taken to act selflessly. He understood that life could be unfair, but truth and goodness always find a way to shine. Somewhere deep inside, he knew that this moment wasn't just about him. It was a lesson for everyone who had doubted, ignored, or overlooked acts of courage and kindness. Liam had shown that one person's bravery could make a difference, not just for themselves, but for the people around them. The suspense had ended, but the story had left a lasting mark. Liam's life had been changed, Olivia's actions had been validated, and the company had learned an important lesson about justice and integrity. And for Liam and Ava, the future now felt brighter, safer, and full of hope. The morning after the big revelation, Liam woke up feeling lighter than he had in months. The weight of fear, worry, and uncertainty had lifted, replaced by something he hadn't felt in a long time, hope. He looked at Ava sleeping peacefully beside him and smiled. He had kept his promise to her. Things were finally going to be okay. When he arrived at the office that day, it felt different. People greeted him warmly, no longer with whispers or judgment, but with respect. Employees he barely knew smiled at him, managers who had doubted him looked apologetic, and Olivia waited nearby with a proud, encouraging smile. The entire atmosphere seemed brighter, filled with appreciation for the man who had quietly been a hero. Ethan, the CEO, approached Liam personally. "I wanted to make sure this transition was smooth," he said. "You've shown the world what courage looks like. I believe in rewarding people like you, not just with words, but with opportunities that matter." Liam felt overwhelmed. He had never imagined that doing the right thing would lead to so much recognition. Yet he remained humble, knowing that all he had done was protect someone in need. "Thank you, sir," he said softly. "I just did what I thought was right." Olivia came closer, smiling. "You did more than just the right thing, Liam. You showed everyone the power of kindness and courage. That's why this moment exists." Over the next few days, Liam settled into his new position. It wasn't just a job, it was a chance to secure a future for Ava, to live with dignity, and to make a difference in other people's lives. He felt proud, not of the promotion itself, but because his honesty, bravery, and selflessness had finally been recognized. At home, life began to feel lighter as well. Liam spent more time with Ava, reading her stories, cooking her favorite meals, and laughing with her like he hadn't in months. The fear that had haunted him was gone, replaced by a quiet confidence that, no matter what life threw at them, they could face it together. One evening, Olivia visited again. She and Liam sat on the small couch, talking about the events that had changed everything. "I never expected it to turn out like this," Liam said, shaking his head in disbelief. "I just wanted to do the right thing, and I was punished for it. Olivia reached out and gently placed her hand on his. That's exactly why it mattered. You showed the world that doing good is worth it, even when it's hard. People noticed, and now everyone knows your story. Liam smiled, feeling a warmth he hadn't felt in years. It's strange, all the fear, all the struggles, they led to this moment. I guess sometimes life tests you to see what you're really made of. Olivia nodded. And you passed. Every single time. That night, Liam tucked Ava into bed. Daddy, are we really going to be okay now? She asked, her small voice filled with curiosity and hope. Yes, baby, Liam said, brushing her hair from her forehead. We're going to be more than okay. We're going to be happy. As Liam left her room, he looked out the window at the city lights. He thought about the journey they had been through, the fear of losing everything, the struggle to survive, and the courage it had taken to act selflessly. He realized that life could be unfair, but honesty, kindness, and bravery would always find a way to shine. He also understood that his story wasn't just about him. It was about everyone who had ever felt powerless, overlooked, or punished for doing the right thing. It was a reminder that courage and integrity matter more than anything else. From that day forward, Liam continued to work with pride, raising Ava with love and teaching her the same values he lived by. Olivia remained a friend, someone who reminded him of the power of speaking up and standing for justice. And Ethan, the CEO, ensured that the company recognized and celebrated employees who acted with honesty and bravery. The moral of the story was clear: doing the right thing may come with challenges, but courage, honesty, and kindness will always be noticed in the end. Even in the darkest moments, hope can shine through, and lives can be changed for the better. As Liam held Ava close that night, he whispered softly, "Remember, baby, always be brave. Always be kind. And never stop believing in the good of the world." Outside, the city slept, but inside one small apartment, hearts were healing, courage was rewarded, and a single dad and his little girl looked forward to a future filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities.